Hello everyone. Well, it's just the two of us again, and we're here to have a little sort of learning look at another Beatles song. We're going back to the good old Beatles. If in doubt, twist and shout, that's what I always say. And this week we're looking at the lovely Beatles song She's Leaving Home, featured on the 1967 Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album. And one or two little interesting factoids about this song. Paul McCartney wrote the verses and John Lennon wrote the choruses, and the two of them sang together on the recording with just the two of them. George and Ringo weren't present for this, and none of the Beatles played a single instrument on the recording of this song. All the musical and instrumental accompaniment came from a small string orchestra assembled by the wonderful musician, band leader, Renaissance man, Mike Leander. And so that's the genesis of the recording. It's one of only a handful of Beatles recordings that didn't feature the Beatles at least playing something, even if it was only dominoes. But anyway, it's a lovely song. Plaintive, I think, is the word that you'd use to describe it. On the Sgt. Pepper recording, it's in the key of E major, but for the usual reasons, well, for two reasons. One, it's the singing key, and also the playing key on a GCEA strung ukulele. It just seems to work in A major. And I'll show you what I mean. But of course, again, transferring from guitar, if you're playing A major shapes on a ukulele, you're playing E major shapes on a guitar. So I'm guessing that this one was probably composed on a guitar rather than a uke. What am I thinking? Anyway, let's have a look at it in a bit of detail. The introduction on the recording is played on a harp, which is nice, but we don't have one. Well, actually, we do have one of those, yeah. Up in the top bedroom, but for these purposes we'll use a ukulele, and I'm using my low G tenor uke for this. The low G I find helps in certain circumstances. If you wouldn't be seen dead with a low G ukulele in your hands, it doesn't matter, your loss. But Pam's playing her high G soprano as usual, so really it matters not. Okay, the introduction, as I say, is played on a harp on the record, and it's all on an A chord. And what Pam is going to do is just a single strum on the first beat of each of the 4 bars of the introduction. It's in 3/4 time, so there are 3 beats to every bar. And so it's going something like that. But Pam is just going to play single strum on the first beat of the bar, because I'm trying to replicate that little harp riff that features on the recording, and it's on an A chord. You can hold an A chord down while you're doing it, so it's another example of chord melody. And if I just play it through, it goes. That's all it is. So we're on an A chord, and we're picking strings 3, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2 again. So with the first part of it is just, you don't have to do anything except use those 3 fingers. I use my thumb on the 3rd string. When I'm picking, generally I use my thumb for the 3rd and 4th strings, the C and the G strings, and my 2 fingers 1 and 2 look after strings 1 and 2, the other way round. So index finger on the E string and middle finger on the A string. So we get that, and then we need to just drop the little finger down on the 4th fret of the A string, and then off again. So we've got, and then the rest of it is just your ring finger on the 2nd fret of the E string and off, and when it comes off it goes over to the C string. So that second half of that is, and that's all it is. So it goes, which just sounds really nice against plain slowly strummed, sort of arpeggiated A strums on an A chord for your accompanist. Shall we try that?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Simple as that. If you maybe do it every bar, not just every other bar. Shall we try that again? I'm overworking it. Right, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. That's better. Right, then we get into the first verse. It starts on starting on that A chord that you've just played. The next chord following that is E minor. So it might be a bit of a stretch. Oops. If you play your E minor as just 0, 4, 3, 2, it's fine. I always prefer, if I can, if the circumstances permit, to play the full E minor, which is 4, 4, 3, 2. So we go from A to an E minor, and then a B minor. Okay, just remind you that is a full 4-string bar on the 2nd fret with your ring finger on the 4th fret of the G string, B minor like that. Then we're going to an F sharp minor. Again, just to remind you, an F sharp minor is 2, 1, 2, 0. There. Simple enough. And then from there we're going to a B7th. Okay, got 2 ways in this context of playing a B7. Pam usually plays it with a bar on the 2nd fret and middle finger on the 3rd fret of the C string. I prefer mostly a different voicing of B7, and I play it as 4, 3, 2, 0 because that puts the 7th note up there. The beauty of that, of playing it like that, is you can just flatten your index finger over the A string as well and get a full B major chord. So whichever you prefer, whichever is more comfortable for you. Okay, that's the first line: A, E minor, B minor, F sharp minor, B7. And then the second line is a D chord followed by an E ninth. Well, you may not be familiar with E ninth, so I'll show you how it goes. It's basically a filled in E7. You all know E7, play it like that. Well, if you just fill it in and move your ring finger over to the 2nd fret of the E string and then drop your little finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, that's an E9. It's lovely. So it's 1, 2, 2, 2. Now, we're going to that chord from a D major chord. Okay, now, you might be thinking of playing a D major like that, 2, 2, 2, 5, or as 2, 2, 2, 0. I recommend here that you play the D as 2, 2, 2, 0, but don't use those 3 fingers, use those 3 fingers. Fingers 2, 3 and 4, play the D like that, and then all you need to do is move them across one string, so that instead of there being on strings 4, 3, 2, they're on 3, 2, 1, which means your index finger is free just to drop in on the 1st fret of the G string to form the E9. So it works like that. D like that, and then E9th like that. And that's the 2nd line of the song, and it repeats those 2 chords, D followed by E9th. So we get 1, 2, 3, silently closing the bedroom door, leaving the note that she hoped would say more. Okay, then we're back to the same melody as the first line. She goes downstairs to the kitchen. So that's repeat the chords again, A, E minor, B minor, F sharp minor, and then a B7 at the end of the line. And then we repeat those two D and E ninth for the fourth line of the verse. And that really takes care of the verse. There's just a couple of slightly unusual chords, but they're not difficult to find. So if we just run through that first verse, let's put the intro on top just for grins. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Wednesday morning at 5 o'clock as the day begins, silently closing her bedroom door, leaving the note that she hoped would say more. She goes down the stairs to the kitchen, clutching her handkerchief, quietly turning the back door key, stepping outside, she is free. So that's the verse, and that's just the first verse. The other two verses are exactly the same, except on the third verse it's only half as long. There are only 2 lines instead of 4. But now what I was doing, Pam is strumming chords, and I was just doing a basic finger pick in a 3/4 pattern, which, as I explained, is the I just move my thumb over slightly and use my thumb on the 4th string, and then those 3 fingers on strings 3, 2, 1. And I usually pick those 2 together so to get that 3/4 rhythm. So I'm going, so that's thumb, index, and then 2 and 3 together. That's the basic picking pattern that I use, but I vary it around and, you know, just play with it, because, as I'm never tired of saying, don't play the same thing right the way through the song. It just gets to be a little bit humdrum after a while. Okay, so that's the verse. Now we come to the chorus. Now the chorus is where we've got that lovely sort of counter melody, sung probably in a falsetto. On the, with she, we gave her most of our lives, is leaving, sacrificed most of our lives, that kind of thing going on. So you need 2 singers really, unless you're schizophrenic. Right. And it's all on an A chord. That the first part of that is we gave her most of our lives, he's leaving, sacrificed most of our lives. And that's on an A, and we gave her everything, and that's where it changes. But while you're doing that, we gave her, you can pick that we gave her most of our lives. It's all on an A chord again. We've got the E string open, we, and just put the D note on, the suspended 4th. We gave her, and take it off again. You're still on a plain A chord, and just need a finger over onto the 4th fret of the G string to get the B note, and then take it off. So we're getting he's leaving, sacrificed most of our lives, and you can even hammer on that D note. There, so there's all sorts of things going on there. Now we come to the next chord, which is one you probably won't be familiar with. It's an E minor 6th. Do not be alarmed. It's not difficult. It's simply 4/4-3/4. So the way I play it is those 2 fingers, middle and ring fingers on the A, the G and C strings at the 4th fret. My index finger goes on the 3rd fret of the E string, and my little finger goes on the 4th fret of the A string. So it's 4/4-3/4. Isn't that lovely? Well, it's a voluptuous chord, that. And then we get to the end of that line. We gave her everything money could buy, and the word buy overlaps with the following line, she's leaving home after living alone for so many years. And that overlap takes place over an F sharp minor chord, which is so what we get is, let's run through that chorus. It's of the chorus, we come to another chord that you might not be familiar with, and it's a B ninth. Easiest way to finger that is a full 4-string bar on the 2nd fret, then your middle finger goes on the 3rd fret of the C string, and your little finger goes on the 5th fret, the 4th fret of the A string. And that chord at the end of the verse, chorus, at the end of the first 2 choruses, that B ninth note chord is hit 3 times staccato. So, and if you're playing that as a full bar, it's nice to get that staccato effect just to damp by releasing the pressure with your fingers. Don't take them off the strings, but just release the pressure. If you hold the pressure down, you get the extended chord. If you damp it by playing, you get a staccato. And so that echoes what the accompaniment is doing on the record. Well, that is pretty much it, because everything else that comes after that is a repeat of what's gone before, until you get to that little coda right at the end. And to get into that, you know, the she's leaving home, bye bye. But before you do that, that B ninth chord that we just looked at is not hit 3 times staccato. It's a single and let it ring. So the last chorus, the last verse, to say, is only 2 lines rather than 4. So it's Friday morning at 9 o'clock, she's far away, waiting to keep the appointment she made, meeting a man from the motor trade. And then it goes into the final chorus, which is 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Coda is just F sharp minor. She's leaving home, and it's a B major chord. No ninths, no sevenths. The full Monty, B major, which is for 4-3-2-2. So it's she's leaving home, then a D major. To finish on the A with, just to put a little flourish on it, little finger goes on the 4th string of the A string. So you put that C sharp note over the top. Right, and that's all of it really. So when we put all that together later on in the week, or it'll be released into the wild at the weekend, a play along version, and Graham will be with us to do clever things with his bass.
And sing a counterpoint.
And I'm hoping that because my voice can't be in 2 places at once.
And nobody needs mine.
Pam refuses to sing. So hopefully you'll see how it all fits together. And so I'm sure that'll be nice. It's a lovely song to play, and a nice song to sing to, a nice song to perform. So don't forget our comic song on Friday. Yeah, this one it will divide opinion, shall we say? Anyway, and we'll have another one along next week, and so on for at least another few weeks. But that's all from us for today. So we'll see you soon, and until we do, you know what to do. Stay safe, be kind to each other, and be nice to yourselves. So with that, it's goodbye from Pam.
Bye.
And it's goodbye from me. Bye-bye.